Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's Rabbi Stephen coming back to you as you know me. Rashbi in the house. Yes, Rashbi. Here, another week. So, by the way, as many of you might have seen, my wonderful wife, Rebbetzin Chris, has posted on Facebook, and you'll be getting more information. So, this Saturday is going to be our first Shabbat service here in our house that is doubling as a synagogue, and it'll be a potluck, and we're supplying the bagels and the lox. So bring the herring and the noodle pudding and all the other stuff. We're looking forward to it, and it's going to be a good service, just like you used to. Musical instruments, and it's going to be some discussion, and it'll be fun. Looking forward to seeing you there. So this week, second portion of the Torah. We're back to square one. That was last week, and now we're moving forward. And second portion is Noach. That's right, Noach. And Noach was mentioned in the last portion. And a little bit of a spoiler, Avram is mentioned at the end of this portion as they go through his lineage. So, the story of Noach. So Noach was a man who lived in bad times, where people engaged in, and here's the word, and you know the word, Hamas. What does the word Hamas mean in Hebrew? Chet Mem Samach. It means thievery. It means taking something from someone. It's not just walking into their house and, when they're there and skulking around and grabbing something. No, it means taking something off of someone. And the commentary talks about how man had deteriorated to the point where first they kind of pilfered a little bit, and the courts couldn't be bothered. It was too small. Then they kind of worked their way up, and the courts still couldn't be bothered. So now you had lawlessness. And the story goes, the Midrash says that it took Noah many years to build the ark. God said to him, build the ark. I'm going to make it rain. I'm going to flood out the earth. I'm going to wipe most life off the earth. You're going to save you and your family. Also, you're going to save the animals. 2 pairs of animals. And there's also 7 pairs of animals. We'll get to that in a minute. And Noah starts building the ark, and he took a long time to do it so that people would see it and they would say, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Right? To give them an opportunity to turn their lives around, to say, oh, wow, I messed up, like the weekday Amida. Greater understanding, repentance, asking for forgiveness, and a change in your behavior. They didn't do that. So God made it rain, and he made it rain 40 days. Now, 40 is a really interesting number here, isn't it? Because it rains for 40 days, even though Noah and his clan were in the ark for 154 days until the waters receded enough. And, of course, Moses goes up to Mount Sinai, 40 days, no eating or drinking, receives the Torah, golden calf, he breaks the tablets, goes up again, another 40 days, okay? So, why were there different sets of animals? Well, there was 2 pair of each set of animal, so that the animals weren't extinct. However, the pure animals, and it just says pure, doesn't say kosher, doesn't give any description. That's why we have Talmud, and that's why we have Midrash. But it says that 7 pairs of the clean animals. The clean animals, so that when Noah landed, when the waters receded, he could do sacrifices to Hashem, thanking him. It's kind of an olah. An olah means that they burn every part of the animal except the hide, and it's a thanksgiving offering. So unlike some of the other offerings, there's nothing there to eat. It's not a barbecue. It's just, the whole thing goes up in smoke, and it's an olah. It's an elevation offering, a thanksgiving for Hashem. So, up until this time, remember, and there was no barbecue anyway with the offerings, because man was still a vegetarian. It wasn't until after the ark landed that God said, okay, now you can eat animals, right? But there were some stipulations to that. The stipulations were that you must drain the blood of the animal. You must not eat the life. The blood is the life. Now Rashi interprets that in a different way. He thinks out of the box. Whereas you don't eat the blood of an animal, you drain the animal, you drain the blood out of the animal, you drain the life. That's respect for the animal. Okay? When somebody talks gossip, Lashon hara, the evil tongue, about someone, what happens to their face? it becomes red, right? The blood rushes to the face. People become embarrassed. They say that this is kind of an indication. This is kind of an admonishment that you don't talk bad about people, because when you talk bad, the blood comes up, a person turns red. In a way, you're eating the blood of a person, right? So in the meantime, there's Noah and the clan, and they're in the ark. They're just floating. And an ark is defined as just a big box floating on the water. No navigation, no sails, no rudder, no motion, no locomotion of any kind. It's just there. It's just bouncing around on the water. And it's interesting because the Eitz Chaim Chumash, the one that the Rabbinical Assembly of Conservative Judaism had meant as an update against the Sansino, the Rabbi Hertz volume, talks about some of the other myths, the history of some of the other peoples, because there was a flood myth or history incident in a lot of other tribes, a lot of the Mesopotamian tribes. Now, in some of the Mesopotamian tribes, you had the people, they were kind of like God, demigods when they came out of the ark, and it's a lot different. But here, Noah and his family, his wife and his 3 sons and their wives, were just people, just like us. So the ark land. So here it is, and it's 154 days, and there was a little skylight in the ark, and Noah sends off a raven, to see what's out there. And the raven is a bird that feeds on carrion. It feeds on death, really. It feeds on the carcasses of other animals. And finally, the raven doesn't come back, so he sends out a dove. The dove's a little different. Dove comes back after a while with an olive branch. So the olive branch is a little bit of symbolism there, because we know that a dove holding an olive branch is a symbol of peace. Now, the olive branch is actually a very bitter twig, but yet it's a very nice tree. But it's bitter, so you've got the fact that you have to take something bitter and turn it into something nice, hence the allusion to peace. So they see that the dove has brought back the olive branch, so they see, okay, there's some vegetation, the waters are starting to recede. So the ark lands, and they come out and they start resettling the land. And Noah is, and they say that Noah was a horticulturist. He invented the plow, as a way to till the soil a lot easier rather than using slaves. And this is where we're starting to see the transition of respect for human beings, fellow human beings, going from using humans to hold the plows to animals like oxen and donkeys and whatever. So he also now he plants a vineyard. So he's a viticulturist. He also vents wine. He makes wine from grapes. So he's a viticulturist. That's another something that Noah did. And they say he ate the grapes, didn't realize they were fermented. So people give him the benefit of the doubt, and he becomes drunk. So what happens? He has the 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Shem, you guessed it, Semites, right? He's our father. Ham has a son who's Canaan, the Canaanites. And Japheth actually is the father of the people that settle in the Mediterranean, the Greeks, the Romans, the Europeans. So Ham goes into his tent, sees he's lying there naked because he passed out drunk, and kind of snickers to his brothers, who turn around, take a sheet, and they kind of walk backwards so they don't see their father. They have respect for their father, whereas Ham does not. And we see that, the old expression, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. We see that his ancestors, his descendants, are really people that are idolaters and pagans and just very not nice people. And then it starts counting down 10 generations. Okay, we had 10 generations from Adam to Noach, and now we have 10 generations from Noach to Avram. Still Avram at this point. And there's a word in Genesis, ha-ha-behema, and the words can be transposed to say Avraham. The hay is small, and according to one tradition, because it shows that Abram became Avraham, father of a multitude. And there's where the hay comes in. Other people say that, the way the words were made, they're kind of backwards, and that's to draw attention to that. So let's go back to Bereshit a little bit, in the remaining time we have for my 10-minute, i.e. 11-minute Torah. God creates the universe in 6 days. During the first day, he creates the firmament, sees that it was good. Second day, doesn't quite get there because he's not finished, decides to let it go spill over a day, and the third day creates some things and saw that it was good twice. Fourth day starts creating life and plants, sees that it was good. Fifth day starts creating the birds, the fish, the birds, and the animals, sees that it was good. Sixth day creates man. Nothing. At the end of it all, at the end of the sixth day, he says, I see that all I created was good. Now, some of the angels argued with Hashem, saying, don't create humans, you'll regret it. So what happens? God says, no, I'm going to create them anyway. What do we have? The first death is Abel's. Cain kills him. Then we have Tubal-Cain, who murders. Now we have these people, that are in Noah's time, no respect for life. It's not looking real good for humans. So God's wiped out humans because he saw, oh my gosh, these people did I gave them all these resources and look what they did with it. So now he's Noah. Now he creates Noah. Now we're going to see the advent of Abraham, and we'll get to that next week. But here's the flow of the Torah. This is leading up to why we need the Torah and why we need commandments. So Shabbat Shalom. We also have Happy New Month on Tuesday and Wednesday, the new month of Cheshvan. It's Mar Cheshvan. We've had a lot going on. In Tishrei, we've got kind of a month or month and a half relaxation before we get to Hanukkah. And again, hope to see you here Saturday morning for services. And if not here, somewhere else, Shabbat Shalom.